All right, hi, I'm Jim the Geek, and I'm just going to do a sound check here. Check, check, everyone's there. All right, we're going to move along. All right, it's Christopher Isherwood, the novelist. I keep telling you all about myself. I've got novels. You can go on the internet, your favorite bookstore on the internet, and you can order yourself a bunch of Christopher Isherwood novels and some other specialties that aren't so novelish. All right, I want to talk about myself. I want to talk about all of you. Now, some of you remember a movie that was by Jim Carrey called The Truman Show, where Truman was on TV his whole life, but he didn't know it. What would you say if you found out that everything that you ever did in your whole life is on camera and is being watched by a whole shitload of people in secret? Nah. All right. Just imagine it was true. Just for the sake of my argument, it was true. And everything you do, from going for a crap to going to work, to going to the grocery store, to going on a hot date, a hot date, to going to your church wedding, to puking your guts out after you drank too much 151 rum. From the time you were born until the time you dropped dead, it was all being watched like the Truman Show. For you personally are the star of a show. I still don't, but never mind whether you believe it or not. How would you feel if you never knew all these people were watching you, and then, I don't know, later in life, you found out you were Truman? Could you handle it? Are there things that you've done that you think, Jesus Christ, I don't want people to know about that? I don't want to see people sitting on the crap or taking a crap. I don't want to see that. I don't want other people knowing about that. I don't want to watch people taking the crap. But, maybe it's edited. It's edited, isn't it? What if I told you, no, not a second, not a bloody second is edited. The whole damn thing is there, and these people are watching you and everyone else. Some of you are show-offs, and you're going to go, bloody right. Some of you are very prudish, and it's like, I don't want them in my damn bathroom when I'm taking a crap. And I don't want them in my damn bedroom. And for that matter, I don't want them watching nothing. Zero. None of it. None of it. But Truman didn't know about being watched on the telly till much, much later in life. I have bad news for you all. You're being watched. You're being watched 24/7 since the time you were delivered out your mum's twat. You've been watched. By how many people? Let's go with millions of people. Millions of people are watching you. Why? Because these people are bloody stupid blokes, and they're bloody bored with their life, and what they do is they turn on their telly to see what's going on their version of, I don't know what they call it. We know what it's called, actually. We know what it's called. All right, it's Bob Frizzell for the reality game. And it's not called the reality game. That's my show. And in my show, I don't feel like I need to tell you anything other than I'm not filming you doing anything other than I'm not making those kind of movies. My kind of movie is basically I turn on my phone, I put on my pink hat, I say, it's Bob Frizzell for the reality game. I do a blurb, and that's it. But okay, it's Jim the Geek, and I'm not doing the sound for these movies. I do the sound for in my basement. In my basement when I'm listening to old LPs on the record player. That's what I do the sound for. I don't do the sound for any shows. And in your world, Christopher Isherwood died decades ago. So is it the dead people that are watching you? No. Who are watching you? Well, according to, let's go with Corey Good, internet commentator, who has these dreams, or I'm not exactly sure. Somehow they come and pick him up. They come and pick him up out of his bedroom, and I don't know if they use a transporter beam or what exactly happens, but he leaves, and maybe it's an orb. I think it might be an orb. I don't know how you describe an orb. It's just like, do you remember in The Wizard of Oz, there was the good witch, what's her name? Glinda or something. She would come in, and she'd come in an orb, and that's how she'd get in there. And I think that's why they come to get Corey Good, and they take him away. And then he's got wonderful stories about what happens when he gets taken away. He meets with extraterrestrials. And there's one group of extraterrestrials that he calls the Anshar. And in one of his shows, he said, the Anshar think that they are us in the future. Way, way, way in the future. They're us. And he says, Old Man Anshar, how old? I don't know. Let's just picture him as being about 75 years old. Old Man Anshar. He turns on the telly, and Old Man Anshar is the one that watches what goes on planet Earth. And how many of these 75-year-old Anshar men are there that watch us on television? He didn't say. But there's at least one that watches us all. Yeah, there's billions of us. So is he watching you? If there's one Anshar man who can watch one of you, like you were Truman, then there's got to be more besides Mr. Anshar. Old Man Anshar, we know for sure from Corey Good that Old Man Anshar watches Earth Telly, watches us secretly, surreptitiously. So if there's one Anshar, do you know how big the bloody galaxy is? Some people haven't seen these videos on YouTube that show first the size of very small things, like microscopic things, and then they go bigger and bigger until they're the size of an ant, and then bigger and bigger till the size of a human, and then bigger and bigger up to the size of an elephant, and then a blue whale, and then they go up to the size of planet Earth, and then they go up to the size of Jupiter, and then they go up to the size of our sun, and then they show us how small our sun is compared to some other gigantic stars, and then they show us how big the Milky Way galaxy is, and then they show how small the Milky Way galaxy is compared to the vastness of multiple, I don't know, unbelievably large numbers of galaxies in our universe. And then they say, and that's just one universe. People call it a multiverse. I don't know, but there's more than one universe. Stewie Wilde, the metaphysical writer, said one time he was given a vision of a woman. He said she was the goddess of 1,000,000,000,000 universes. So, if there's one old man Anshar who's watching us on telly, private closed-circuit television, in his easy chair, he's an old man, how many other species have got the ability to spy on us here on planet Earth? Now, how might they do this? Well, even with Earth technology, with the Internet of Things, we've been told in magazines like Popular Science that they're working on this stuff called smart dust. And smart dust is very miniature stuff. It's dust. And it's hooked up by things like the internet, and it's got little teeny miniature cameras. So just imagine, smart dust is so tiny that you inhale it and you don't even sneeze. And it's everywhere with cameras. And it's so sophisticated. It's in all of your rooms. It's out in the bush, in the forest. It's out in the oceans. It's everywhere. And it's got miniature cameras. And all of these blokes from off-planet are watching us all the time. There's nowhere to hide. A goddess of 1,000,000,000,000 universes full of infinite numbers of galaxies. And there's dirty old perverts like old man Anshar who's watching what the heck we're doing every day. So you can bet on it, given the vast size of our universe, that there's someone who really likes you in particular, somewhere. Someone, at least one person, and maybe 8 or 9, watch you all the time. You know, like they were your guardian angels or your slimy little demons. So, do you feel kind of dirty, slimy yourself? Because they know everything about you. They know every one of your passwords to every one of your accounts. They know all your private conversations with your solicitor. They know how many shags you've had. If we're to believe Corey Good about old man Anshar, you can believe Christopher Isherwood, that there's lots of dirty old buggers all over the universe, and they're watching you for getting their jollies. And you're not getting paid for it. You didn't even know. And now that you know, you're like old Bob here. Old Bob, he's like, I'm so disgusted. One of our ego people here, the one that often talks to you, doesn't always say what his name is. It's not Harry Weaver, it's the one we call DJ Uncle, or just Uncle for short. Uncle is the one here when not on camera that much, but he's here, most of the rest of the time. And Uncle said, delete the damn Instagram account, delete the damn Facebook, and delete the damn YouTube channel. All of it. Delete, delete, delete. And he said it this week for all of these things because he hates what Rumpelstiltskin calls personal people. Now I'm going to have to do another talk on personal people so that you know exactly why old Rumple hates all of you. He hates you. But we gotta go. I'm Christopher Isherwood on Anshar TV.